We're going.
Hi, and welcome to your video tutorial on how to make a classification key, a dichotomous key, and a branching key. So what I've done is found 5 toys from James and Lily that I'm going to classify. So I need to find a way to divide them into 2 groups. Doesn't really matter how I do it, but again I need to follow those classification rules and be clear so that someone who didn't know how I'd do this would be able to follow it. So I'm going to say, how about these 2 with hard flat sides and these 3 with not. So when I start my key, I'm going to start the 1A, 1B, and it just so happens that I know, because I have 3 objects, I lied, 5 objects, that I'm going to need 4 steps. So I'm going to set up my shell right now. So my first set is going to be hard flat sides. And my other group is going to be not hard flat sides. I know, ignore my spelling. So it doesn't really matter which group I start with. I like to start with the smaller group, so I'm going to start with the smaller group. I'm going to set these other 3 aside and just look at these 2. And again, it doesn't exactly matter which order I go through, but as long as it goes sequential and I name everything by the time I'm done. So I'm going to say go to 2, because that's my next step. So now I look at these 2 and I have to distinguish or tell the difference. Well, that's an actual cube and this is a column. Oh goodness, what's the word for a 3-dimensional column? Let's call it a column. So we're going to call it a cube. And then we're going to say, actually let's just do a circle. I know, how embarrassing. So if it's a cube and it has hard flat sides, this is the only thing it could be. So I need to name it using my naming rules. So it just happens to have one name on here already. So I'm going to call it Harold Block, because I'm also creative. First name capitalized, second one is not, and set it aside. For this one, if it's a circle with hard flat sides, then I'm going to call it Ham, Burger, and Patty. Again, for the also creative. So now first capital, second not. I've done with these 2, I've named them. So I can set them aside and come back to the other group I ignored for the moment. This one I need to jump back up to step 1 and have it follow to step 3, to go to 3. So now when I look at these 3 and I try and distinguish between the 2, there are a few features that jump out, but I would suppose the one that's the most is the fact that this one's made out of fabric and these ones are not. So I'm going to say fabric or no fabric. I could have done things like has orange or no orange. I could have done things like has limbs or no limbs. I could have done size, but I like to do it easy. So fabric. So if it doesn't have hard flat sides and it's made of fabric, this is the only thing it could be. So let's call him Sammy Snake. And then if there's no fabric, I still have 2 to choose from. So I have to go to step 4. And this is my last step. So in this, I need to tell the difference, and I'm going to use color. I haven't used color so far, and it's pretty obvious for these 2. So I'm going to say orange, like all orange, and not all orange. Now if it's orange, I'm going to call him Freddy Fish. And if it's not all orange, we're going to call him Jerry Gerbil. And no, I don't know why all of my animals are male. They just happen to be. So there's my dichotomous key. I can hand this to anyone and say, hey, what did I name this? And they would always start at step 1. Hard flat sides or not hard flat sides. Has hard flat sides, so go to 2. Is it a cube or a circle? It's a circle, so it's hamburger patty. Now what we need to do is take this same information and make a dichotomous key of it. So the first one, or box, is going to be everything. And then we have 2 choices. The first thing I did was hard flat sides or not hard flat sides. So we say hard flat sides, not hard flat sides. Now I like to start with 1 and follow the path. So I'm going to go to 2 and just branch off of hard flat sides. And there were 2 choices. Either it was a cube or a circle. If it was a cube, we called it Harold Block. And if it was a circle, because I still can't think of the name for a 3-dimensional column, we called it Hamburger Patty. And I'm done with that one. So I'm going to go to my other path where it was not hard flat sides, where if it was fabric, it was Sammy Snake. But if it was not fabric, I still had two more choices. Not fabric and orange. Sorry, this crayon is getting more dull. Was Freddy the fish. And not all orange was Jerry the gerbil. Whoops, and then you put not orange. So essentially what I've done here is this in a pictorial form. So I could still do the same thing where I would say, okay, tell me what the name of this object is. I start all hard flat sides, not hard flat sides, well, not hard flat sides, fabric or not fabric, no fabric, orange or not orange, hey, it's Jerry the gerbil. So it's the same way of showing the dichotomous key, just in graphing format. So for your test, I will be giving you 5 objects, and you will be needing to make a key and a dichotomous key and a branching chart. I will give you the names so that I can test to see whether your key is accurate or not. But you will need to do this exact same thing. Thanks for listening, and come see me if you need help.